Once upon a time, there was a good old traditional housewife. She cooked, she cleaned, cared for her children and the man of the house, and of course, she didn't talk back. She was both obedient and soft by nature. She was a good woman who always made good choices.
Shut that shit off.
We're good moms, bad choices.
Two single moms
Who said fuck the patriarchy
shared all their bad choices
and found out they weren't so bad after all.
We're experts,
oversharers,
and your new besties.
Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, hoes. How you feeling?
I feel tired, but I'm happy.
I am also tired and happy. We have been moving and grooving very, very much. We are in Atlanta. If you're on YouTube, you can see us. We are on a world tour, and right now we're at iHeart Media headquarters in Atlanta. It's a little bit different than our home office. But
Shout out to Black Effect.
Shout out to Black Effect for taking care of their girls. We just got back from Jamaica, and now we're in Atlanta, and then we're going to be in Charlotte, and then we're going to sit the fuck down.
Woo!
Amen. But today we're joined by a very, very special guest that we had to link up with because we've been manifesting this interview for a very long time, and finally we're on the same side of the world. And so even though we may or may not have gotten shit-faced drunk last night, and I may or may not have maybe put a little bit of Molly.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
A little dab of Molly. We're here, and everything is fine.
I did no Molly.
I didn't either. I
had no drinks.
I said you had drinks,
I had
bitch,
nothing.
and shots.
I was an angel of Christ.
I haven't been. Last night we were laughing so hard that a woman knocked on the hotel door like, "Shut the fuck up!" I was like, "Am I 13? I haven't been in trouble in like a long time in a hotel." And I was like, "That miserable bitch." She heard laughter. 4 a.m. What a fucking miserable bitch. Sorry, lady, that wasn't nice. Anyway, sorry. We are here, and we're joined by a very special guest, author, wellness entrepreneur.
Oh, thank you.
Founder, bad bitch.
Period.
Shelah Marie.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show, my love.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. And I forgot to add retreat leader, of course.
Yes.
Our fellow retreat leader.
retreat leader.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. I know, yes, it's been a long time coming, and I love your videos. I'm always watching your content.
Aw,
I had a friend last night. I was telling her she was coming on the show. And she's like, "Oh my God, I fucking love her. I love how her brain works. How she just sees stuff and then she ties everything together and then she posts it immediately." And I was like, "Wow."
How do you know she posted it immediately?
Because she's following her, and she said, and then I went and looked, and I said, "Yeah, it's true. She's very smart. She does post things quickly."
I need some inspo.
Quickly,
'Cause I set up my videos for years, and I'm like, God, the moments.
She had commented on White Lotus. I was like, damn, I had a lot of opinions on White Lotus. Why didn't I do a video like that?
There's so much, though. It's just so much all the time to make content. But yeah, White Lotus, she tried it.
Yeah, those little bitches.
They tried
Which
it.
bitches?
They were those little friend group. Those
three
white ladies.
those three older ladies. I really liked it was slow moving this season, but
Yeah.
there was like dynamics that were really like developed over a slow period.
There was a payoff for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That I was really I enjoyed each of the dynamics, like the three women that are aging, but they still are like obviously in high school. We never really grow up.
I'm like, they hate you.
Yeah.
Sister, they don't like you.
the short-haired one, right?
Yeah.
They all
Lori.
hate each other.
They all
a little
kind of
bit.
hate each other.
They did all hate each other.
Because they kind of all
It
hated
was a
themselves.
competition.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And I was like,
definitely giving high school.
yeah, I'm like, I don't want to age and be a bitch.
I just felt like it was so that dynamic specifically really intrigued me because I felt like it was the truest. I think
agree.
storyline that was happening because I really see that dynamic with women now, like women. I don't even think it's not even a white woman thing. I think it's just a woman thing. And watching those women as they're older women too, and seeing how they've like continued to just push things under and under and under and under. It was cool.
It was very nice, nasty. All of the stuff that they wanted to say, they just cloaked in and like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh no, because like if we're on a trip and you're egging me on to have sex with this massage guy. I don't know what.
And then you secretly fuck him.
And then you end up doing it. That is fucked up.
It's just weird. She was right. I was with her.
That actress, the one who was the famous actress,
Yeah.
I could not stand her.
Could not.
But you know, she embodied.
Fine. I just want everyone to be happy.
She embodied that role really well.
She did
She really
great.
did.
She gave
She did
I'm a
great
rich
job.
white woman
She did
actress
great.
that's kind of insecure really well.
Do you know Mike White, the writer and the director of White Lotus? He got their idea for that triad from being at lunch or something and overhearing three women talk. And he was like, that's because everybody's like, how did you write them so well? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm like, that is a very honest friend dynamic. He was like, yep. There was these three ladies at lunch and he just started writing.
Wow.
And you know, I think
like-
it's also intriguing because I don't know how old you are, but like, and I'm very young. I'm 27, but we're at an age where, you know, we're peaking at 40, and like, you know, the aging is coming up, and
Yes.
like I'm seeing it on myself, and like even because we do this work, and I can literally see me 7 years ago on video now. It's like we're approaching this place where like we're aging, we're moving into different like part of our life, and I think like society, I think it's really becoming clear that society does not embrace like the natural aging of women, you know.
Not at all.
At all.
And even at the club, like these people are young. How old am I? You know, so it's like and like still clinging for that fun, for that play, for that like whole life, but like secretly, you know. So it was.
And then still not having the tools, so still acting like a child and still acting like a teenager and still like operating in that. It's in that space
because you haven't done the work,
but with
to,
an
like,
older physique, which
Right.
is crazy.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Some people don't grow up; they just age.
Yeah,
Yeah, most people don't grow up; they just
Yeah,
age.
they're just older.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. You know, during the show, I'm one of those people who like when I'm watching the show and I like it, I'm like, who wrote White Lotus? I'm like, oh, Mike White. Okay, interesting.
He knows how to write wealthy white people.
Yes,
Like that's his lane.
those are his people.
People are like, "Oh, I want to diversify White Lotus." I'm like, "No, leave
no,
it,
leave
right
it
where
there.
it is.
Leave it where. That's why we like it.
Yeah.
Just leave it just like that."
From two people who grew up in a lot of white spaces, with a lot of rich white people, I'm like, Mike hit this shit on the fucking
Really?
nail.
No, he really did.
I don't know about the brothers
acting,
jacking each other off. I don't know.
Now
if that's
that
what
was.
that was crazy.
I'm not sure if that was earned. Like by the end of it, I was kind of like, "Did we need that?"
The acting was top tier. That storyline specifically, I had higher hopes for. Because
like
I really needed the son to die. Like, why
Which
did he
one?
come back?
Oh,
when he like
you
when
wanted somebody to die.
Lockie.
yeah, the young
Lachlan.
one, the one like when he
should
when
have
he thought
died.
when he drank that smoothie.
Yeah.
Sorry for those who haven't watched this.
Oh yeah.
My
sorry.
bad. But yeah, he needed to die.
Spoiler alert.
I was like, why the fuck he come back?
I kind of secretly wanted the whole family to
To
just
die.
drink those smoothies and
Me
just
too. Why
they-
didn't they all drink the smoothie?
I know that sounds morbid, but the way that they were leading up, giving all those flashbacks,
Right,
and
I was like, are you
over
gonna do
and
it?
over, I was like, they all need to go.
You know what? Maybe they didn't go because it was actually going to be worse for them to live.
Yes,
Like
I think
living
you're
was
right.
actually going to be worse, especially for that wife.
Piper,
She
no.
was amazing.
Piper, she did great.
But you're
You don't
not
want to
even
live here in
Taiwan.
China.
Yeah, it was just
You don't want to live here in China.
I would rather die.
Parker Posey killed
She
that role.
fucking killed
I love
it.
Parker.
She did so good in that role. Yeah, I think her fate, being alive and not rich, is worse than death.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how he finally broke the news too. He was just like, things are gonna change.
Some things are gonna
Gonna
have
change.
to
that,
change.
that poor
Jazz.
man, every time he got on camera, I was my butt cheeks were clenched for
He-
him.
he
I
looked
was
stressed really well.
stressed.
I'm like, bro, is he going to jail or not?
I was like,
He
this
going to
poor
jail
man.
for fraud?
I'm
Like,
like,
Why don't you just stay where you're at?
right?
Everybody might as well stay.
and then Arnold Schwarzenegger's son killed it too.
Can you believe
That was
that
his
is
son?
Arnold
That's Arnold
Schwarzenegger's
Schwarzenegger's son?
Wait,
the
who?
older, the douchey son.
Really?
Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Son. And he looks just like Maria Shriver when
I
you look at him
didn't
too.
know that.
Yeah,
I know,
he
right?
Killed it, and you know why? Because privilege.
He looks-
he knows exactly how that works.
I knew 12 of him in high school.
Me
Like
too.
I know a nigga just like that.
There's a video of him finding out that he got cast in White Lotus, and he's literally at like it looks like a White Lotus. Like that's his
He's
life.
playing himself.
Yeah, I'm like he's bringing his
This
real
is his
life.
life.
He played a little too good to the point where I was like, you be into that weird shit. I know because that whole scene with his brother, and I was like, this is a little too convincing here, brother.
I'm like, is this what the whites are doing on vacation?
Oh my
God.
But when I was watching your clip about specifically that friend dynamic, it struck me a lot because this is something we talk about too, even when we have retreats, is like women coming and they want to bring their friends because they like feel like they need the safety, but then their friends come and then they hold them to this standard, and then they're not allowed to kind of just like unravel and be who they want to be because they're trying to like put up this persona of whoever the fuck their friend thinks they're supposed to be. And you said something in the clip about, I think it was like quantity doesn't equal quality. Like just because the amount of time you've known someone doesn't mean that they are a quality friend to you. And I think a lot of women specifically like rule their relationships that way. They're like, but I've known her forever. Like, she's a stupid bitch, but
she knows me since kindergarten.
But it's fine because I've known her forever. Even though like she's killing my soul, and every time I'm with her, I'm exhausted and I leave and I feel horrible about myself.
Baby, that's a slow death to have to constantly explain yourself to someone over and over again who's committed to misunderstanding you, over and over again, invalidating your opinions. Like, honestly, I think that there's the way we build friendships is like that pyramid. Y'all remember the
food pyramid?
It's like the food pyramid, and it's like at the bottom you have the most people, but at the top you have the fewest people. But that's like the densest area, and usually we just put them in all right, my family, because you're my family, right? You'll be a good friend to me, and I can tell you everything. And people that I went to high school and middle school with, and just because they have a long time that they've spent in your life doesn't mean that they have shared beliefs, shared values, even shared experiences. I know me, I'm still friends with girls that I knew since high school, and we have very different lives. There's things that we can intersect on and not. And I just feel like it's really important. It's hard for women to do this though. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of stigma around having friends for a long time, right? Like, and some people like, oh, I don't want to outgrow my friends. And then you get new friends and they don't know you, and your new friends beef with your old friends, and then to me, I just feel that scene, what those women indicated, was like, it was sad. I felt that when I went on Twitter after the scene, I saw like a lot of women were like, oh, it was so empowering. I love the scene.
That was not empowering at all. I was so depressed watching that scene. I felt
like,
so
wait,
bad
which
for
scene are we
her.
talking about?
At the end of the trip where like they were leaving and she was just like,
I'm just happy to be at the table.
She's like happy to be at the table with these bitches that all they did was talk shit about them.
That's sad.
Because
That's
she just felt
tragic.
so low in her life that this was like the bare minimum that she felt like she could get.
I think too, like you said, the stigma of having friends for a long time. I think people underestimate how much you can actually not shift and change and grow when you hold on to friendships that you've had for so long.
And then you wonder why in my
I can't
life
grow.
am I stuck? Why is
because
this?
they see you the same as you were 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and they're not giving you the opportunity to grow because in their mind you're that person. Even if you're like, I'm not this person anymore, they're like, I'm comfortable with you as this version of yourself.
That has happened so often to me, absolutely, because I feel like probably you guys too, because you guys really live in your personality, and I feel like watching you all, you're constantly developing new parts of yourself. You're exploring things, you're disagreeing with yourself back then, you're reevaluating, and when you're doing that, you're going to shift your values a lot, and that might upset people who are not doing that. That might make someone uncomfortable. They don't know. My therapist reminded me that like the person that you were when you created that dynamic, unless two people agree to work on that dynamic, they expect that same performance out of you. Those elements are going to come out of you. So if I was like that shy, scared, reserved Shelah, and we're in our 30s, that Shelah still comes alive when I'm around y'all.
So when you act up or you taking up space, they're like, oh, look at Shelah. She's like she wants so much attention or whatever it is. I've had so many friends. I've had friends tell me like, you in dating, like, don't be so honest. Like, chill out.
Really?
Like, I was like, so lie, and then 6 months in, I'll be a different bitch. That's going to be deceiving, you know? And like, I'm like, the advice, even the advice people give you based on a version of you that they think that they know. Correct. I feel like even in this space, in this friendship, because we committed to growth, you know, like we're committed to honesty and growth.
Absolutely.
That we're always reassessing, reevaluating. But I think this friendship has been super, validating and fulfilling because it allows me to grow. You know what I mean? Like, we're not stuck. And I think a lot of women have a hard time finding and making and being consistent with friendships in their adulthood. It's more comfortable to be friends with the bitch you know since second grade because she's going to show up. She's going to go to the mall. She knows
your history. You don't have to Explain yourself.
Because a lot of people are not comfortable with meeting the girl in the bathroom and actually like exchanging numbers and be like, hey girl, what are you doing today? Because that's awkward. But like you have to make new friends when there's new versions of yourself because that's how you grow. Ultimately, I feel like if I would have stayed close, like I think in this friendship, I mindfully took a step back from other friendships because things were happening in my life, and also like that's how the God played out. But also, had that not happened, I don't know if I would have arrived here, because I was playing out the projection of how you think that I'm going to be and who I am, and I needed space to like figure it out, and then have a support system that said, "Oh yeah, I like that too. That's cool. That sounds good."
Exactly.
I think too, like, there's also, once you decide to take the path of I'm going to evolve and I'm going to start attracting the people that are meeting me where I'm at, the people that are no longer meeting you where you're at, like you have at least for me, there's like a lower tolerance.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a lower tolerance, there's a lower patience. And I've personally had to work on that too, and like find like the patience with them, like if I'm going to keep them in my life. Because there's a few people I'm like still trying to like drag them up with me. But when they, specifically this one person, like when they're talking to me about the same shit over and over again,
Bro.
and I'm like, yo, you've been talking about this shit for 10 years.
I know what you're gonna say.
And I'm like trying to also lead by example. Not that I'm perfect, but I'm like, yo, look how far I've come because I said I'm going to do something different. Like, I don't know. Look at the people in my life that have also agreed to do that work too. And look where they are at. Look where you're at. Like, why are you holding on to this? Like, why? And so it's hard for me to then want to always like to be around them. It's really hard for me. And then I feel guilty because like, it's not that they're bad, that this person is a bad person. I love them. But it's just like my spirit, my energy, like is like, we can't engage.
Yeah, you can't be honest.
It's hard to engage. Yeah,
in that sense, because they're asking you subconsciously to lie for them.
Yeah,
and it's like it's hard for you,
right?
Like,
and then every time
lying.
and then I become the friend that's like, oh God, I can't talk to Erica because she's gonna tell me her opinion. And I'm like, well, nigga, yeah, because I've heard it 1,000 times.
Are you venting?
And
or do you want
I've also
opinion
sat
here?
and listened, and that was very draining. And also, attention, people. I just want to bring
I already
this.
know what you're about to say.
I want to bring
I
this
agree.
to your attention, people. Okay. If you're someone who is going through a hard time or like seems to always have something going on, you know if you are. I think people generally know that they are. Ask for permission before dumping on people. Like, just say, like, even if you're not that person, I know I even have to do that.
The people who are that person
Just
don't
say,
know they're
hey,
that person.
Do you have the emotional capacity? Do you have space for this conversation right now?
Can I vent right now?
Don't just hop on the call and be like, girl.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Just got out of a massage. Oh, for real? Listen. I'm like, God damn. Like, ask for permission because sometimes, like, it's a lot, especially as I've entered deeper into this work and I feel like my energy fields have opened up so much more. I used to not really look at myself as an empath. I was like, I like, because I viewed empaths as just like they would cry on the drop of a dime, or like they just wanted like they were just everyone is gonna. And I'm not that type of person. I'm like, okay, I see you. That's cool. Like I'm a little selective with how I share my energy. But as I've grown more into this space and healing myself, like I realized that I can take on a lot of people's energies and it's very exhausting for me. Like my social battery shit, like as I've gotten older, I can't operate the same way that I used to do. I just can't.
Nope.
And so like when someone comes to you and calls you and starts dumping shit on you, like you please ask for permission. Just ask. Even if you think you're not that person, I guarantee you someone in your life is like, oh God, here she comes.
Especially in this day and age where like I feel like there's already so much going on.
That's what I think we're overstretched.
Yeah, we're so overstretched, so overstimulated, so overinformed. Like I never even thought I'd say overinformed.
No.
But like I don't need to hear about every fucking tragedy worldwide on the internet. Like I'm overstimulated and I think and we're paranoid because we're getting fed so much shit. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to then also take on your shit? Like it's a lot. It's a lot to be a mom. It's a lot to be like to work. It's a lot to be paying bills. It's a lot to be a fucking adult. Yeah. And I think as women, we're all like naturally empath, and we're naturally going to be nurturing. And so when someone tells you something, you're going to be present and hearing it. And maybe that's just our fucking water sign asses too. Like I know I'm very sensitive. So like yeah, there'll be times I will straight up not answer a phone call because
Yeah,
I
I'll
know
ignore
you.
you.
I know you
ignore
about
you.
some
Yeah.
shit.
I already know something's happening. You're calling me at past 9 p.m.
I
Some
know what
shit's
time
going
it is.
down.
Yeah, I don't have the capacity. Sorry.
Even my mom used to
Respectfully.
be that type of person. Like every time she would call, she was talking shit about my dad. And there came a point where I was like, "Girl,
Same.
I can't hear this. I lived with you.
You picked him for me, and now you want me to
listen
hate
to-
on him? Come on, ma. Like,
18 years, you know, and she's kind of like, I think, become more aware of it. And because I took some steps back.
really?
And now we're in a better place because I just think she's more, she's like, sorry, I didn't mean to like, go, you know, I just needed to talk to someone.
on,
I'm
Mom.
like,
Come
yeah.
on, bro.
But I think people think it's mean to set boundaries that way, or you're not there for your friend, but it's like, are you there for yourself?
I think it's also me too, though. I have to be better too about setting the boundary early on in the conversation. Like when I hear someone start about to unload, be like, "Hey, I thank you. Thank you for sharing. Right now I just don't have the capacity to take on this conversation. I love you. I would really love to be present for you in this conversation, but I can't right now.
I'm not good at that.
I
I feel like a bitch.
I'm working on it.
I know, but I feel like, but if they can't accept that, like, then there's already like a boundary and respect issue happening. And I think that, like, I don't know. I think when you do that when you actually start, well, when I start finally doing this to my friend, starting tomorrow,
But also,
I think that, like, perhaps it actually helps them too. It helps them
realize, yeah.
to become more cognizant of like how much they're also like speaking out these words and creating the
This
madness in their
environment.
life, because words are spells, and we all know, like, the more you talk about it, the more you're talking about all
feeding the
you're
flame.
feeding, you're feeding the flame.
I also know, because this is the last on these people. Those type of people rarely say, how are you?
Yeah.
Girl.
What's going on with your life? I think because like when you can hold it together, you appear well, everything seems fine, and you're like mostly positive and optimistic. People think she has space and time to hear my shit. No, nigga, I do not. I have some shit going on too today. Whether you have asked or fucking inquired, my nigga, I'm feeling away. I'm not,
Right.
whatever. But like, I feel like those people rarely do that. And that's where I started to realize, like, nigga, you don't even call and check on me, but you have time and space and energy to dump on me. I can definitely ignore this phone call. Like, even whiny ass people, like, bitch, shut up. Stop fucking whining. I have a child. I do not need to hear your
saw
adult whine.
A post that said, like, you ever been talking to somebody about their problems and then realize midway they like their problems?
Yeah.
Like, this problem isn't going anywhere. She's
You
gonna-
actually would
or
love this thing.
You love this.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, that's when I'm like, oh, this is my sign to exit stage
Yeah,
left. Like,
yeah.
Or I might engage to a degree, but then at a certain point, it's like you said, it's just going on a merry-go-round and engaging in enabling that same behavior. We're not doing that.
What are some ways that you've made friends in your adulthood?
Yeah. Friends, I feel that was the hardest thing for me to write about in my book. Everything else I feel like came really naturally. And then I said, why am I having so much trouble writing a chapter about female companionship as adults? And I'm like, okay, well, number one, from my perspective, we are taught to center men from a very young age. And we are taught how to socialize with men, how to impress them, how to appease them. We learn so much information. We're trained on how to be a wife from when you're young. They don't
With that
care.
little kitchen.
Yeah, with that little kitchen, the little play set, all that. You taking care of your babies. But I don't necessarily think we have as much framework around how to be a friend to other women, because that requires you centering women in a certain way that a lot of women might not be familiar with, right? And so for me, the way that I make friends as an adult is I align on specificity. So and I keep it small. So I'm an Aries and I'm a very honest person, like we were talking about. And I felt like for a long time, if you're a friend and you're close to me, that means I have to tell you everything. Like that was just my way of connecting. Like, you got to know everything about me. And then I realized, number one, girl, I was that one overwhelming people. Like it's too fucking
I
much.
was 5.
Yeah, because you a busy bitch. Like, I have just a lot of things going on. So it's like, okay, like, I'll be outside. I'll be like, I saw a bird, and I swear it was my grandmother. And then
And let me tell you why.
And yeah.
Let me tell you why, because it was blue, and my grandmother had a blue brooch that she used to wear.
It goes so deep.
I'm cooking dinner. So,
Oh, okay.
to me, I just took that approach where it's just this full on approach. If you're a friend, it's everything. You're invited to every event. I share everything with you. Now I take a very catered approach. So I have my spiritual girls. Those are the girls I'm going to tell about the
bird, right?
Because she's going to go, oh, me too. Oh my God, I saw
Let me look
a
at my
bird
book about animal spottings.
Oh my God, oh my God,
the
oh
mental,
my God.
physical.
Oh my God,
I gotta
how do
dream
you
about
say
you.
that?
Yeah. We're gonna love that. And then cause I'm a film head, I'm a cinephile, I love film and TV. I have girls that I just all we do is go see scary movies together. Like that. I love horror. That's my thing.
Me too.
And I just love the genre. And so I'll go there, do that with her. Other friends who are just like our artistic friends, she like to make stuff with her hands. Oh girl, let's do pottery. And that's all it has to be. It has to be a simple touch point. We go do something. We have a shared experience where it creates new memories. Because a lot of times when you're older, when you get in I'm 40. So I feel like when you get in your late 30s and 40s, you kind of can get in the trap of not making new memories. That you're just catching up. Mm-hmm. Like every time you see each other, you're just rehashing. Remember this, remember that. What happened
and there's no new content.
So I'm very mindful to create new memories. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to be big memories. My social battery can run out very fast. So I know me. All right, this person, that's my artistic girl. We're going to do pottery. We're going to maybe have a little bite to eat after that. And that's going to be that. It doesn't have to be this all-encompassing thing.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to go on vacation.
You can.
Like
See,
me.
I got my girls, but I can't go on vacation
like
with everybody.
Me, where I'll just make any friend like, you want to go? You want to go here? You want to come?
She had to learn her vacation lessons this year.
Difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
You remind me of one of my best friends so much, Tasha. She's in LA too.
Oh, she is?
Hey,
Tasha.
Like that. She makes friends with everybody. She's like the perfect villager. Like when I think about being in community, that's Tasha. She'll pick you up from the airport. I'll bring it over, no problem. I was out this fabric store. Didn't you need this fabric? Like she's so thoughtful and just open-minded like that. I'm a little bit more.
I am. I'm open. I'm very open. I hugged a girl in the club last night and she cried.
I know. Wait, Orlando comes to me. I'm like, where's Jamila? She's like, she's therapizing someone in the corner. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. She's really tall. Jamila's really small. She's like, has her hands. She's like groping. She's like, Jamila's holding her head like this and trying.
I don't even know what I overheard her say.
She's like tantraing her. I was like, okay, well, I'll see her in about 20 minutes.
I did. And she was like, thank you. I really needed to hear this. I was like, whatever you're going through, girl, let it go.
So special, though.
I was like, you already know. I was like, I don't even know what you're going through. I just overheard you. I was like, let him go. Let it go. If you don't feel good about it, if it doesn't feel respectful, if it doesn't feel like literally, I'm telling you, this is a sign. As soon as you move out of the situation, you're going to do better. And we're friends on Instagram now. Indigo. Shout out to Indigo. But
so cute.
You know what I feel like too, and tell me if this resonates with you, because I know that I looked, did a little research. You were talking about the mother wound, and I think I'm realizing this right now, like in this year, that because I don't have a problem making like female friends, but I think that I realize like in my closest friendships, there are certain things that are triggers for me, and I recognize now that like even I think my attraction to women is that like me and growing up with my mom, we weren't super, super close. Like I saw my friends be. And so I gravitated to women, and I've had like codependent relationships with some of my best friends, like literally just at each other's house for 5 days straight and shit.
Us.
Yeah. And also recognizing when there's certain triggers that come up, like my mom was relentless for my dad for 100 million years until literally last week. So when I see in like my female friendships, when I see women like make men the center of their lives, or they cheat themselves by being in relationships, I'm super triggered by that, you know, or like just make their whole world about their man.
Me
like
too.
I get triggered by that.
I did that,
and it made me realize, oh, bitch, you're triggered because you thought this bitch was your mom, and you have this mother like friend. Like there's this dynamic that I realize, like I'm triggered by that because I feel like women have been conditioned to center their men and their romantic relationships, and everything else goes to the wind. And also that like it's a dynamic that I grew up in my family where I felt like my mom would fucking go, everything else fell to the wayside, but when my dad was doing some shit, that was her main thing. And so I just realized like in my adulthood where my triggers in my female friendships come up, and like why I clung to some like female friendships very hard. And I'm like, do you see that in like with your going through the work that you do and writing this book? And like I didn't know what the mother wound was you were speaking of, but do you see that in your like a reflection of your friendships too?
Yes, absolutely. By the way, I really loved you having Slumflower to talk about this. I love her.
I love her so much.
I think she's like one of the most brilliant. I call her a philosopher.
That's
what she is to me. And I'm like one of the most brilliant minds that speaks on this type of topic. And I love hearing her. Even if I don't live like another one, I just love hearing her thoughts. Every time I hear her speak, I learn something new. I love you, Slumflower.
Yeah,
We love you,
shout out to
Slumflower.
Slumflower. Check out our
The men
episode.
hated that
What was it?
episode.
It was called The Mother Wound, right?
Mother
Yeah,
Wound.
I
Yeah.
think so. The men hated that episode.
girl, they were
I'm
going crazy.
shocked.
Oh, like, how could you abandon your mother?
You had problems.
Even if she
Listen.
abused you,
You're a
keep her.
prostitute.
Like, yeah, it was crazy.
It was insane.
I think that a lot of us have mother wound. Everybody's going to have some type of wound. There's going to be something there with your mom. And if you're not mindful about that, or if you haven't explored that, not everybody has access to therapy. Therapy can be expensive. It can be prohibitive. But if you haven't looked into any of that, you can find yourself what we do is we try to replay the scenario again and again, and then in order to do it right this time. So if you feel like your mom didn't give you enough praise, maybe just as an example, you might be looking for your friends, feeling like, I just feel like she doesn't acknowledge me. Again, looking for praise in her and praising her to do it right this time. So I think everybody's a mirror. So whatever we're going through with our friends is a reflection of something that we could take a look at. But when it comes to the mother wound specifically, I 100% relate to that. I feel like from my perspective, my mother I love my mom. I love you, Mom. Mm-hmm. She has a little bit of a harsh outer, it was her inner voice that became an outer voice that became my inner voice. And so I feel that has become a thing with me where I start to become the mom. Like I'm the caretaker friend. I always used to be the friend, make sure everybody's good. And then I would come and feel again that if I need to share my opinion because that's my caretaking. That's how my mom would show caretaking. Like, I don't like that. You didn't do, you did all this stuff good, but this right here needs to be changed. And like, that was how I was showing up with my friends because I felt like it was caretaking. I would want someone to tell me, right? But then it's like, bitch, you're the one with the negative. You bringing the vibe down every time, right?
I haven't asked for all that.
So I had to take that information and rework it because I definitely don't want to perpetuate that. But yeah, mother wounds absolutely play into it. By the way, I want to backtrack. And you were talking about how you were at the club last night and you were like being super friendly. I just like had this memory. When I first started dating Ace, like me and my friends would go to the strip club all the time. And he literally was like, Sheila, you cannot come to the strip club with me no more. Because every time
You're
making friends with all the strippers.
Baby, go back to school.
They took all my money. Like, I gave them all the money, honey. Like, I would just feel so bad because I would be like, I just want you to know you're gorgeous.
You don't have to dance. You can just take the doll.
I was
Don't
like, you
dance.
can be a ballerina. And like I would be in there and they're like, let's go, Sheila, let's go. They're getting off on you, sister. And I was like, damn, but
we're friends.
I just want to
Don't give Sheila
We're
no
going to
money.
lunch next week.
Sheila gets no. Give her 100 singles.
Literally,
That's it.
exactly. You can't take me anywhere. But yeah, sorry, I don't know how we got there from
No.
but
I understand.
I love it.
Yeah, I think the female friendship thing as an
It's
adulthood, it really requires some some reflection and introspection that a lot of people are not willing to do about themselves, about their family dynamics. But I find that, I know we're some deep ass bitches, spiritual bitches. I find like all
You guys make the best friends though.
Huh?
Spiritual girls, like
Oh, yeah.
y'all make the best type of friends.
Yeah,
because you know yourself more. The more you know yourself, the better you can be a friend. Like she said, knowing I know how. Hi, I just want to say in the beginning of this conversation, I'm not in a space. Like, that's her knowing herself. And then when you don't speak up like that, then it becomes manipulative, right? Or then it becomes something else. Because you're feeling away, you're not saying it, and then she's constantly dumping on you, and then you're feeling mad, and then later it comes up and it can become a big thing. Whereas I feel like the girlies who are interested in self-work can more likely catch themselves. They have a certain level of self-awareness. And I can do anything with someone who's self-aware.
Yeah.
We can do anything. We can rework a relationship. We can end it, amend it. We can restart it. But if you're not self-aware, if you're just going to be looking at me like, well, I don't really think I did.
Yeah. Some people refuse to be too. Refuse to be self-aware. They're like living in a box.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, unfortunately. I mean, I will say I think the internet has helped people. I mean, it's like this double-edged sword of Instagram. But I do think that like the internet has put words to people's feelings or people's shortcomings, or just being like, oh, wait, there's like looking at a list and being like, oh, shit, I kind of check off every box here. Maybe I am a blank, Right. In your book, you talked about main character energy.
Yes.
And so I wanted to get into that because that's, obviously, like confidence is really the key to beginning to understand how to show up authentically as yourself. Like even like I think they work side by side. Like you're not just going to automatically be in full confidence. Like I think they kind of go and flow with one another. How did you find your main character energy?
Through stop trying to be main characters in other people's stories. I think a lot of we are socialized as women to prop up a lot of my book will revisit over and over again the ways that larger structures affect our ability or inability to self-actualize. So I could not talk about this without addressing things like patriarchy, things like misogyny, things like late stage capitalism. They do affect the way that we socialize and the way we learn what's important and value. And we live in a society that tells us men is more important than women. So, wait, what was the fucking question again?
How did you find your main character?
Yeah, period. Thank you for guiding me back to myself.
There you go.
And so a lot of us are very comfortable being main characters in other people's stories. You will see a trend in women being overly concerned with other people's lives. Oh, but they're not going to be able to eat. They're not going to be able to do this thing. And it comes from a good place. Like, right, we want to be nurturing, want to be caretaking, but you're doing all that to distract yourself from the fact that you don't even have a storyline. That you don't even know where your exit is. You don't know your cue. You don't know the lighting. You're so focused on this other person's story that you plan a side character to yourself.
Right.
Make that make sense. So what that looks like is getting to know yourself. Exactly the type of things that you guys talk about every time on your podcast is getting to know the limits of who you are and what you are. A lot of us don't even know who we are. We know like a hologram, like a projection screen that has like everything your parents told you, your church told you, and everybody else. But like, what do you like? What do you like? Do you want to be friends? Do you not? What is a good frequency for you? Not what the internet tells you, but it's really getting to know all the aspects of who you are and first accept them. Because number one, if you're not a good friend to yourself, you're not going to be a good friend to anyone else. You're going to just create, foundations in the sand. But when you get to know yourself and accept yourself, and I think that's the key, because when we're talking about main character energy, we're talking about loving yourself. And people go, self-love, well, I don't know what that is. Like, is it a bubble bath? Is it masturbating? Is it, what is it? I think it is self-acceptance. If self-love is the destination, the vehicle is self-acceptance. You get there by just being like, without fixing, without losing the weight, without getting a new job, without getting more money, without doing any of that. I'm worthy and valuable right now. And look at all these wonderful things that I am expressing right now. Let me get to know myself so then I can attract and recognize my star players. But, as Cat Williams told us, you have to check in with yours first.
I love that. The analogy of the vehicle being self-acceptance, because I think a lot of times we are trying to love like this future version of ourselves,
right?
And so it's taking us even farther away from us loving ourselves, because bitch, you've been this person for a long time. You're not going to be her for a minute. So you might as well get into who you are at this very moment and figure out what are the things that you love about yourself. Make a list. There's got to be at least one thing that you love about yourself.
Exactly.
And start with just that one thing.
And do it from a place of how much you love yourself right now and not how much you want to change
that thing. Oh, yeah.
Right? That's so important. And I'm talking to myself too, because there's always that, like,
same. I mean, this is like, that's why I say I think they go hand in hand together, because I'm still always battling like my self-love. I'm like, I have body dysmorphia for sure. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fat. And then I'm like, oh my God, I look good. So then I'm like, wait, I hate this, I hate that. And so like, it's a constant evolution, especially because what you said, the patriarchy, misogyny, fucking Instagram, which I said it has helped people, I think, come to themselves, but also hate themselves. So it's like a constant evolution of trying to make sure that you're constantly checking in with who you are in this moment and saying, okay, I love you even still.
Yes.
And I think people are always seeking their future self, looking to love their future self. And it's like,
just right now you're worthy.
Yeah.
Right now you look great.
Yeah.
Right now you're good. You know?
Yeah. I feel like that's what we need a little bit more of. Can I ask you guys a question? Mm-hmm. Since you do a podcast where you share so much of yourself, like so much of your internal life, your experiences, do you feel like it's helped you love yourself more?
Absolutely. I think talking out loud and being honest, like it's one thing to have it here, but when you say it out loud to your friend or you say it out loud and you know, potentially thousands of people are listening to it, there is an accountability that has to take place. If I'm privately maybe doing some fuck shit privately, you know, but I'm not telling my friends or other people, then I'm not really maybe being held accountable. But I think there's been a like I said before we started, you're like, do we ever get like a lot of hate or freaked out about the things that we share because we've shared a lot of things, and I'm like, not really, because it's the truth. But that's been over a course of like understanding that honesty is medicine, and then also saying things a lot have brought me to like realization, like me saying like I realized in my female friendships I'm being triggered by certain things because it's rooted in my relationship with my mother. I don't think I would have known. I would have had connected those dots if I hadn't done this much talking out loud about things that hurt, parts of myself I didn't like really love, or like parts of myself I'm like that could use some fucking improvement. I think that that avoidance that you said, like I saw two people on our retreat, is specifically we make profiles, said like we asked them to describe themselves in 3 words, and I saw twice, I thought it was an interesting, I mean it's a great thing, quality, but 2 people put hype woman. And I was like, that's an interesting adjective to describe yourself as. And I meant to ask them about that. Like, do you hype yourself up? But I think that it's absolutely a distraction from yourself. Doing, like, figuring out what you like and who you are. And so you're always prioritizing somebody else, always thinking about someone else. It's because you don't want to do the inner work that says, like, do I love...
We get very creative at hiding from ourselves.
Oh, and it seems like, oh, I'm just being a really nice person. No, bitch. You want to not look at yourself in the mirror and figure out what's up with you.
Period.
You know, so I do think, like, the talking out loud has been medicine and has been a practice of, yeah, this is who I am. And that's who I was last year. And that's who I was last week. And this is who I am today, and this is how I've grown from that. And like I'm always changing, I'm always growing, like the world is always spinning, like I'm not perfect, you know, and I know that. And so I think it's helped really give me acceptance in that space.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that speaking for sure has been transformational in my life because I felt like I held a lot of things in before. When I mentioned Mila, like I was ready to burst open. Like I was like, I got some shit to say because I had suppressed so much, like again, like how I felt about my body. I had suppressed how I felt about my relationships. I had suppressed like just so everything, you know. So being able to speak, there was a freedom that I had never really experienced, and being able to sit with my sister and her accept me even after I've expressed those things was very healing to me. Mm-hmm. Being able to sit with women like you who are women come on our show and they're very vulnerable, you know? And so like, that's healing for me. Having our community reach out and say, hey, Erica, like that was really dope, that thing that you said, or I really relate to that experience, or I didn't know I could do that. And I'm like, bitch, I didn't know I could do that, but you know, like those are things that keep me going and help heal the little girl in me that like felt like, oh, I'm too much, or maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe I shouldn't wear that, or maybe I should lose weight, or maybe I should, you know, this or that. Like even like yesterday we were at Black Effect Fest, and I wore this like super tight blue thing, and everyone was giving me some compliments. Thank you. But I've been like in privately like the last like 5 months feeling like I don't like my body.
I could not tell from that clip. I would never guess that that's what you're thinking.
But I think because I have to show up every week no matter what, I have to push through. I have to push through and yes, like, and then I look at the pictures and I'm like, bitch, why are you always tripping on your body? Like, you're good. And it's just because my body takes different shapes and forms, you know? And I think also growing up in LA, growing up in white spaces, growing up in the entertainment industry, you know, all those things paired with men that, you know, I felt like if I look this way or I look that way, you won't cheat on me, or like maybe you'll stay. Like those things started to play into my psyche and are things I'm still unraveling now, like even now. So I think that sitting here and talking and sharing, even right now saying this, is healing for me. So I always tell people, like, you don't have to have a podcast to heal, but I do think you have to say the thing. Like, fucking talk into your phone daily and just say things that you don't even like, that you don't feel comfortable saying to other people, and see how your life starts to transform.
And even about being like accountable, I don't even listen to what I said. I just know I said it.
Exactly.
I don't even go back and listen.
Me
I just
too.
know I
I
said
don't
it.
either. I'm like,
just
oh.
like,
No, there's a level of just the release of saying it.
yeah, just the
Yes.
release
Out
of
of your
saying
body.
it. There's
Right.
things I cringe
In
a little
public
bit.
with a witness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just say the thing in witness, and I think that
So powerful.
the frequency of sound, like audio, has energy. Like I think we underestimate our power as energetic, beings, gods, divine beings,
Literally.
so like everything that comes from us, everything we create, things you sing, things you play out theatrically, they all hold and carry a frequency. And like literally, as we're talking right now, like it's being emitted into the into the ethers, and there's power there. And that's why people say like words are spells. Yes, bitch, because the universe is always listening and creating based on what's here and what's coming out of your mouth. So I think like we don't give ourselves enough credit as divine beings, and so that the works and the things that we put out into the earth are often underestimated. How much power they really hold, even how we speak to each other, even touching each other, even connecting on a like personal level, like looking at a bitch in the eye, looking at yourself in the eye and saying like, you're important, you matter. Or just how we speak to people, like just how transformative words can be if we're kind, if we're sweet, instead of just being like, whatever, fuck you. Even what you were saying earlier, I resonate with about like your mom, like maybe speaking kind of harshly or being very direct. Like I grew up in a household that way. So I realized like that's how I speak to my daughter. Girl, who you fucking playing with? Go, whatever. You know what I mean? And I realized like that's because I'm a product of my environment, and I've had to really work on softening because that's not how I was raised. Do you experience that with like your stepchildren like that? I mean, I don't know. How do you feel?
Well, it's different because I have two stepchildren, 11 and 14. Sailor, she's 14. She lives with me, and I call her my bonus daughter, so they call me bonus mom. So being a bonus mom is a little different, I feel like, as an entry point into motherhood, because you're watching these two people do it. So you're kind of like one step removed, because she already has two parents. She has a mother and a father, and I get to see their choices that they make, and I get to just like alley-oop. I love being, I feel like being a bonus mom is just, I love it down. I get all the good stuff. And then at the end of the day, they got a lot of places to go. They got a lot of family. They got their mom, they got their dad, but when it comes to, what was the fucking question again, bro? My memory, because is it TikTok? Can I blame somebody?
Not TikTok is taking
Because
my
your
memory.
mom maybe spoke harshly. Do you
Yeah,
feel like
thank
you've had to
you.
work on not speaking harshly?
Thank you. But I also had a great stepmother and a godmother. So I had like women who weren't my mother pour into me. So I have a different dynamic because I really always thought about wanting to pay that forward. Like, I mean,
Knowing how like
people
valuable.
Yeah. I mean, I was the only black child in my household. My mother is white Cuban. She married my father, who's African American, had me and my sister. They got divorced. My mom remarried a white man and had my sister. So I have one sister who's blonde hair, blue eyes, and then I have a bunch of other siblings that are biracial and black. So I was in there in the house with my mother, who's white passing, kind of like similar to the girl in Sinners. Like
I didn't
that.
see it yet.
Okay, that type of vibe. And then my stepfather who's white, my sister who's white. And so I was very confused.
An interesting
you can
dynamic,
imagine, right? And there was a lot of chaos. The police were in our house all the time. So one of the first people to be like super nice to me and just like, hi, she became my godmother. May she rest in peace. But what she gave me and what women gave me, my teachers who poured into me and stuff, I've always wanted to pay that forward. So I don't have a lot of trouble with the negatives, like with the harsh voice to Sailor. However, I do have to catch it with myself. She's a witness to my behavior. And I notice like kids is not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do. They're watching how you treat yourself. They're watching how you treat other people. So if I'm in, like how you might say stuff about your body, like, oh, I don't say that. I don't look fat. I'm always like, oh, I look so beautiful. I make sure to give myself a lot of compliments. I love the way I look. And my husband's really great at that. Because he's like, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Because I start to hear her, even say little things like, oh, I have a bump on my face. Or, oh, but you still look beautiful. Your skin looks beautiful. So to me, I feel like I'm hyper aware because she's not my daughter.
Yeah.
I almost feel like when it's your kid, it's like, well, it ain't mine,
Yeah,
She ain't mine.
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful. So I'm very careful with the way I speak. I make sure to like, the other day she was like preparing for a test. She really wanted to go to this dance. And her dad told her like, if you don't get your grades up, you're not going. And, we were talking to her and I was like, you got to believe in yourself. I don't know. no. I was like, you're smart, you're this, you're that. And then later I was like putting something away in her room, and I seen she had the Post-it notes like all in her mirror. Like, I am smart, I am strong, I did good, 8th grade dance, like, and all this. And so like when I see stuff like that, it just makes it all worth it.
You know it's working.
Yeah, she teaches me to be kind to myself. Like, just in being around, like, y'all have girls too. I feel like, you know, you just very aware how you can remember. We have memories from 10 years old, 5 years old, and I'm like, damn, is this gonna be a fucking trauma moment?
Right.
Where she's gonna be in therapy later,
literally.
like, my stepmom.
She said, right.
That leads me to our bad choice of the week.
Yeah.
Because you kind of shared with me what your bad choice of the week is, but can you share what you were going to share?
Bad mom, not a bad mom, but a bad mom. So good. I'm living.
So I think I was thinking like, what would my bad choice be? I hope I'm answering the question right. So if I answer it and I don't, just tell me, ask me again. But I feel like a bad choice that I feel like might look bad. And if I would have went back, I would have said, Sheila, what the fuck you doing low key? But it turned out to be good, is being a bonus mom. Like, I think like right before I met Ace, if you would have asked me like, oh, do you date a man with kids? Hell no. Fuck them kids. I don't want that. You know, like that was very much the vibe I was on. But then I was like, oh, okay, they're 2. 1 baby mama. We can negotiate.
I like him and shit.
Yeah, like, you know. But honestly, without hyperbole, I just have the best bonus kids on the planet. They're so cool. Like, they're fun. They're funny to be around. They're smart. They're engaging. And like, through being a bonus mom, I had to deal with my ego a lot. And I don't know. I think parenting is the ghetto anyway. Like, you would have got to that point. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a mother biologically. But you got to confront your ego a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, so many times, let's say I wanted something my way, but she has 2 parents who wanted a different way. Then I have to put myself to the side. So managing my ego and being kind to myself. I had a very harsh inner voice growing up. And so, like, I'm not a person, like, when I meet women who've always been confident, I'm like, damn. That's so cool. You just believe in yourself. Like, I had to really fight for the belief in myself. Like, you're good. You're worthy of things. And so I'm very mindful of that. And when I'm around her, I have to really be disciplined about the way that I speak to myself and the way that I speak to her. Like, all right, I told her, don't leave these dishes. She's still doing it. Like, what am I going to say? How am I going to handle that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I feel like if it's your own kids, you might fly off and be
like, girl, I know what you told her. Yeah, exactly. That's true, and like an interesting perspective. And I was thinking that it may be like you're a little bit more aware, which is wild, because you should just be aware in general, especially, you know. But I wanted to ask you also before we get out of here, like, I know you've been really transparent and talked about your journey to motherhood and like having bonus kids, and I know that you wanted to, you want to have, kids, and how have you healed that, and like how have you been able to be comfortable talking about it, and like, all those things? Because I think it's something just in general, like you said, society tells you since you're a child, they give you that fucking plastic baby, and they're like, this is what you're gonna do. So I think women often don't talk about the journey to, like fraternity and fertility. Sorry,
Fraternity.
She was like,
sororities, fraternities, babies. No.
AKA, how do you feel?
Right. Yeah, so definitely I was one of the ones. I always want to be a mom. I love being a mom. I love taking care of babies and all the things. My mom tells a story to me every time I see her that my little sister, who's blonde hair and blue eyes, she looked like a baby doll to me. Like, when she was born, I was like, this is a real life doll. And she's like, this is I'm raised in the 80s. I don't know if y'all remember Eckert's.
Oh, yeah, the store?
Maybe I'm from the South, so
okay,
maybe I didn't have them. But we used to be left in the car, like when our mom went to the store. That was normal. I don't even know if moms are allowed to do that anymore. But
no, they're not.
Oh, you're not? You'll get arrested. CPS will be there?
Yeah, kind of,
okay,
yeah.
Great. Like, you're a bad mother. They have you on TikTok by story time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in the car. My mom was like, I'll be right back. I was 5 years old. My sister was just born. And she was crying, and I don't know how I knew, but I knew that she needed her diaper changed. I took her out the car seat, changed her diaper, put her back in the car seat, and then my mom got in the car, and she was like, you were just sitting there, and you just said, oh yeah, Mom, I changed her diaper. So I feel like I've always had that spirit in me, that nurturing is very present. And so I was on birth control since I just found out in my late 30s that I have endometriosis.
Oh, wow.
All these years where I've been trying to get a diagnosis and they just been telling you to take birth control, which retroactively made everything worse. So I thought, oh, when I get my IUD out, I'm going to just get pregnant. Like, we fucking, like, you know, we be on the mission. So I'm thinking it's just going to happen. I never, in a million years, I'm like, I'm the spiritual girly. I do the crystals, you know, I'm with the girls, I'm eating veggies and shit. And like, what do you mean? I'm doing my step aerobics. Like, I'm in touch with my divine feminine, of course.
Right.
So my ego took a massive hit when my fertility journey did not go the way that the first miscarriage, I was in the middle of filming Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, no.
Not oh no.
That sounds like not a good combination.
That doesn't sound great. That sounds intense.
Ra-ta-ta-ta. Listen. Yeah, so it was crazy. I'm like, all right, one is fine. But then it just kept happening. And then I started to go like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is before I had my diagnosis. What's wrong with me? And it really took me a long time to work through that shame and guilt. Because if you're told as a woman, one of the things that you are made to do on this earth is to birth children, and you find yourself not being able to do that, then what? Then what? I remember when I saw the Barbie movie, I saw it so many times because I loved the ending so much because of that song, that Billie Eilish song, What Am I Made For? And I would just listen to that part, like, what am I made for? I remember I thought to myself, like, what the fuck? Am I even like a good wife? Like, especially he already has 2 kids and they're so amazing and brilliant. Like, and here I am. So it was not easy. The journey, I'm still on the journey. I don't have any children yet. I have not conceived. But what I have done is stop trying. I stopped trying after I had to do multiple surgeries, had to get an ovarian cyst removed, multiple things to remove the tissue, like endometriosis leaves like all this leftover tissue.
Scar tissue, right?
Scar tissue, exactly. And so getting that removed. And then I just decided, you know what? Like Tracy Ellis Ross said in that podcast interview she did the other day with Michelle Obama, what is this about? Like, what is this about? What am I searching for? What is it that I'm looking for? I'm very much looking for something. There was a part of me that's like, if I cannot do this, if I cannot conceive my children, I'm not worthy. I'm not a full, whole woman. And I had to let that go. So the place that I was pursuing my fertility journey was a place of lack. And it caused me to ask myself, like, what do you think children are going to give you that you don't have? What do you think it's going to bring out a new version of you? And of course it does, because when you birth a child, you birth a mother. But for me, I had to sit with, well, okay, let's take so I do this integration work. I do a lot of spiritual therapy. I'm in all the therapies. And this was where you take the fear and you magnify it. So in sessions, and I did EMDR, which is amazing. I totally recommend.
I need to do EMDR.
Then apparently everybody's
We had
doing
someone on our
EMDR.
show a few weeks ago who said just it changed her life. And then, everyone commented on just how important it is.
Yeah, eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing. I recommend it for 2 reasons. Number 1 is you can do 4 sessions of EMDR and really work through something. Whereas talk therapy can just be never ending.
Never fucking end.
Never ending. And the second is it's more cost effective. Like, you can literally find you an EMDR specialist, do 4 sessions, and you will actually like you will be able to see the change in your life. And it's not through thinking through things. I think like a lot of us prioritize our rational mind, logical mind. I'm going to think through it. I'm going to talk through why my mom left. I'm going to talk through, and you can, but there's a certain somatic healing, and that's what EMDR is. That happens without you thinking through it, which I think is helpful. So anyway, in the fear was, what if I never become a mother? And so instead of running from it in the sessions, I would magnify it, blow it up, make it big, and run right into it like a wave. And I was like, on the other side, it wasn't that scary for me. Like, I don't, if God finds it for me to have a child, absolutely. But if I never have a child from my own body, I'm still a mother. Number 1. Number 2, I'm still valuable. I'm still worthy. And I have so many things to birth right? So many things to birth into this world. And then also I started to think maybe a part of my purpose is to express motherhood differently. Look at how many the foster cares are, they're full.
Yeah.
Okay. So many children who need care, who need support. Why do I feel like, well, there was a certain part of me is like, is it just the ego thing where I feel like I only care so much if it's mine? So that's where I am right now. I'm exploring what care motherhood looks like in all the ways I can express it right now. Because I just felt like this journey, like chasing motherhood, was like killing me. It was killing me spiritually, mentally, physically. And I just was like, I refuse to do this to myself anymore. Like anything in my life that I've had to do all this for, something is telling me you need to shift. You maybe need to look elsewhere. And that's what I decided. Like,
That's beautiful. And I think that women innately just think I'm supposed to have a kid because it's on the checklist.
Yeah.
No, bitch, you should really sit and think about it. Do
And the
you
more that I
really
think about it,
You're like, yeah.
I work with women, so I hear stories. The more I think about it, the more I go, I don't know, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Because look how hard it is for mothers right now. Nobody has support. There's no maternal health care. There's no maternal leave. Like, you know, women, I hear it all the time. Like, I'm not at all one of those women that will be like, nobody told me it could be hard. I am exactly the opposite. I have heard the realities, your nipples hurt, this, that, you know, all the things that can happen. So I'm not naive, you know, I think. So that's where I am. I'm just going to make the best of it. Whatever, that's the only way I know how to deal with life. Otherwise, that shit gets dark and it's just like you feel out of control. So what can I control? I can control my perspective on the situation. And my perspective is I'm divinely guided and protected always at all times. So whatever is in my life is supposed to be in my life.
Amen.
Period. Okay, so if anybody's looking for a mom,
Sheila's available.
I'm for rent.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that and being like transparent and
It happens so much.
There's
We
so
need to
many
talk about
women who
it.
are going to benefit from hearing you speak like that and change their perspective and just like look at the fear and magnify it so that you can really like embody it and say, is it really that motherfucking scary, or am I telling myself that it's scary?
And there's grief either way. That's what I just talked about in the video. I was talking about, Tracy Ellis Ross was talking about her grief from not having a partner and not having children. There's grief either way. If you have children, you're going to grieve the life you lost. If you don't, you're going to grieve all the what ifs. Like, there's grieving. And so instead of trying to run from something that can bring me grief, I'd rather be in a position to manage the grief regardless.
And this shit's gonna happen no matter what, whether it's this or that. How are you managing with life in general?
Period.
Because it's not always gonna be roses and flowers, but it can be if your the ability to just go through things and stay up is there. And I think people forget that that's what this life is about. It's like finding peace in whatever God gives you, essentially.
Yeah. I think definitely finding the peace, and also like you said that you were trying to create a child from a place of lack. So your body will follow suit in that as well, like truly. So, you know, and that's not to say that, oh, now you live an abundant life and now you're at peace and now suddenly you're gonna have a baby. That might not be the case either. But wouldn't you rather live in that frequency? Like, wouldn't you rather create life in that frequency? Wouldn't you rather accept that maybe in this lifetime you won't create life in that frequency?
Right.
You know?
And that's kind of like what it is. I know you guys are very spiritual too. And I feel like I've been communicating with there's two, it's a boy and a girl, spirit children for years. And where I am now in my spiritual journey is I get this sense that they will only enter the earth through my body with a very specific set of circumstances. And if it's not up to their standard, we're not doing it.
We're not coming.
I feel like they came and peeked around a few times and they were like, nah,
Not yet.
no, mom, get it together. And so I agree. I'd rather be in that vibration, like, regardless.
How has your husband, I guess, supported you through the grief and this process?
He has so much faith. Like, that's one thing that I love about him and his family. Like, his mom is one of those, like, praying grandmas. Like, you know, she gonna pray over you. That's okay, baby. She gonna encourage you. And, like, that's another reason why he latched on and did so well with Khaled. Because Khaled speaks like that. Like that, like Ace knows how to speak things into existence. And he's very encouraging. He never worried. I'm like, you not worried? No. No. Can you at least indulge? Make me feel like I'm not fucking crazy?
Right.
But I'm like, I think it's a little easier too. I tell him this also. I think it might be a little easier for him. Number one, it's not his body. He's a man and he has to. Like you can look at them. Like Sailor will come down the stairs and you'll see like you have one already. But to him, in his mind, he's like, I have no doubt in my mind. No doubt. And he prays a lot and he does like womb massages and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a gem. One thing I really lucked up with a Taurus man, a healed Taurus man, because they love being married. He loves being married. Like
Emphasis on healed.
healed.
Yeah, because we were just talking about it. What were we just talking about? Unhealed Taurus men yesterday?
Oh my gosh.
Were we?
Stubborn.
Yeah.
So stubborn. She's like, "Wah."
Sorry, I'm whispering. Probably heard it on the mic.
I know that was. Yeah. And shout out to the men that love being married and love being husbands and
bro.
like are.
He's a lover boy.
Wait,
deep
what's your
down.
sign?
Mine, Aries.
Oh, that's right. You said Aries.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like Scorpio, Taurus, those two signs, I think because they're the opposite, unhealed,
Are
very
I've heard
dangerous.
Scorpio. I don't
Scorpio
have any.
unhealed?
I'm a Scorpio.
Scorpios Are
I'm a Scorpio, so I know.
treacherous.
Ooh, you got isn't that the stinger? You got the stinger, right? Yeah.
But a Scorpio that has like committed to doing no work is actually demonic. Like
sociopath.
It could really be a scary time for
It
everyone.
can. It can.
Really?
Yeah, I've experienced it on the other end. Not necessarily me because I'm perfect, but
I'm crying.
the men that I've dated who my partner now is a Scorpio and he's like amazing.
Wait, 2 Scorpios? How is that going?
Amazing. But before that I was with a Scorpio. And so that was a different dynamic.
Oh,
and
okay,
we fed each other.
different.
We fed each other in different ways. It was very sexually driven and like that was what was there. But emotionally, like, you know, like it can be very, very scary. So I think, like you said, like a healed Taurus man, and I think, you know, Tauruses, they love home life. They love they like a foundation. They like structure. Like they really like to feel in community with people and especially your family.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful that you're.
I
able
know
to
his
find that.
mom used to get on him so much when we first got married because she like, you just keep saying your wife all day. He's like, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. Like, just say Sheila. Just say Sheila.
I waited all my life to say this.
wife, right?
I'm like, I really love that though. I feel like that's half the battle because from my observation, what I see on the internet nowadays, I don't
Girl.
know what's the batch of men going on now. I'm like, y'all hate women? What's going
That's
on?
So
why we
much.
need more men that are speaking out about loving wives and loving like married life, loving being a husband. Like,
I need more men to talk to their homeboys. Like,
yeah, like
Please, God.
please help the men, Lord.
Man, maybe Ace needs to do some men's retreats.
He might love your wife again.
I always say all the time, like, can we get a powwow? Y'all get together? Because, like, what's going on?
I mean,
Because-
I would say there are some really powerful male voices on the internet again,
Yes.
that are speaking really highly of women, and that is like I feel I've seen that over the last, I'd say, like maybe
love
2
that.
years. And so I'm hoping that the men are. I know a lot of women are listening to those men because I'm one of them. Like, yeah,
Because I don't think
I
but
hope
I'm
the other
hoping
men are
the men are
listening.
listening to them. Yeah.
because men talking shit about women all day on the internet is not the flex that you think it is, my G.
At all.
It makes you look immature, weak, and just like baby boy.
You're disrespecting the source. So
Yeah,
now
it's just like-
so now everything is gonna be fucked up for you.
I always say this, and it's not a popular
you don't
opinion,
have
but
to be
when
with
you
women.
when you come, you
Then
don't.
just be with your homie.
If you don't want
you come for the divine feminine in this lifetime. I feel like because we're raising up and we're like remembering who we are. It's not going to be good for you if you keep going in that route.
Not at all.
Look what happened to Kevin Samuels
I knew you were gonna say that.
on Mother's Day weekend.
Was it Mother's Day
Yes,
weekend?
bitch, because I noticed it and I said, "Ooh, look at the goddesses. They did not like that shit. You were a point. He was cancerous. I don't even know if that was a character, but he was doing no good. It's like those kind of people, Andrew Tates or whatever the fuck his name is. There are.
Unreal.
I don't think that this is the era for you, my G. It's not going to thrive.
Not at all. Clearly.
Not me saying that every time.
Okay, but before we get out of here, do you have a horror story?
Yeah.
Oh wait, before the horror story, do you have affirmation?
Okay, fine.
And then tell us your horror story.
Okay.
I love, what is it? I love and accept myself completely, exactly as I am right now.
I love and accept myself completely, exactly as I am right now.
Good job, ladies.
Good one.
And the what is it? A horror?
A horror story, like when you were highly horror-ish. It could be with your husband. It could be in your whole era, whenever.
I was like thinking, I'm like, damn, I need a good horror story. I said, what did you say? You was a monogamous monster or something? What was it? I feel like that's what I am. I'm like, damn.
I'm a monogamous monster.
That's me. But I do have a story about a retreat, actually.
Horror stories.
When I was before we started doing retreats, we were doing day events. And so we had this day event. It was like 100 Black women in this beautiful chapel. We rented out and they were doing yoga and all these things. And this lady just walks in and she's like, what is this? What are you doing here? This is amazing. She's like, in LA, I don't see this many Black women together or whatever she was saying. I was like, really? Oh, okay. And so she's like, get my card. We got to work together. And so she was like, have you ever thought about doing retreats? I'm like, that sounds cool. Let's go. Okay. She's like, you want to co-produce one? I'm like, absolutely. So she's like, all right, I got the venue. There's this place I have a good connection with, everything. I'm like, okay, great. And she's like, oh, but just so you know, it's clothing optional. I'm like, that could work. I'm like, let me think about that. I was like, that actually goes with the theme. Like,
our retreats are definitely clothing optional.
I was like, women accepting themselves, being safe. And since our retreats are just women, I'm like, this could be great. All right, wonderful.
Right.
I'm going down. We're planning. We sold out the retreat and everything. And then Tasha is my collaborator. She's my best friend and she works with me too. She's like, Shelah, this is not only clothing option. This is a swingers resort. I was like, what? Excuse me? I got all these women coming here and then I'm like, what if they're offended? Oh my God, are they going to be safe? Oh my God. I was so worried about the group. It turned out to be, it was Hito. So yeah.
You were staying at Hito?
We were at Hito, girl.
Oh my God. Where?
In the grill.
Oh,
the grill, yeah.
Yeah, and it actually was the best retreat I have ever done to this day.
Wait, were there other people there?
Yes, but we took over. Like they took over the whole. It was mainly us there. And at the same time, it actually was like divine for the girls because at the same time they had like some type of calendar competition thing that had like a bunch of single men and a bunch of single women like competing. So every night we'd like watch their show and then there was a bunch of guys there. I don't know what went on because I was like the mom or the field trip leader. They don't tell me anything, you know.
Nothing happened. We were just hanging out.
Yeah, we just
But
at Hito.
The most fun thing that was happening, the first night we were like, okay, so we're all going to the pool. Like it's again, we want to be very mindful. I'm very, very overprotective over women that come to retreats with me because I feel like that's a big deal. You know, a lot of women are coming out of their comfort zone and everything. So I said, we're just going over to visit the clothing optional side as a group. If you want to come, and like the whole group, maybe only 2 people didn't go.
They're like, well, we came this far. Shit.
They were mad when the group got back.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like, damn, we should have went.
100 Black women just naked. Like, oh, like, is that your C-section scar? I love that.
It was 100 women
yes.
at Hito, and you didn't know it was Hito, bitch.
Like, I kind of underestimated. I thought it was just like you can be on the beach
naked. Clothing
optional if you want. And then it was like, oh, it's a little bit more than that. But it was such a fun retreat. It was so freeing. I want to do more nude retreats, but I just feel like social media came a long way since then. And there's like everybody's recording all the time, even when you think you're not. Do you guys worry about that when you do your...
No. Well, our retreats are typically at private places. Like we take over the whole shit.
Okay.
So there's nobody there.
But I mean, we've had conversations like, hey, like, don't post anybody in any way that you wouldn't want to be posted, or even if you would, like, bitch, don't post anybody naked.
Even that, just to be out of the guise of like, or under the gaze all the time.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Knowing that nobody's watching you, nobody's like it was dope. I actually want to produce. If you produce nude retreats, I want to produce another one.
Yeah, I mean,
So
and the thing is, we never advertise it that way. But when we get there, I'm like, and my titties will be out, so yours can be out too.
Yeah, we had like tantra workshop and everything. It was so cool.
At the Hito retreat. Mm-hmm. Do we need to do a retreat at Hito? I'm like, I want to go so bad.
We hired the dancers from Hito.
Oh, at this past Jamaica retreat, we have like sexy men greet the women with joints and drinks.
You're so cute.
Mm-hmm. Oiled up, you know? Because what else do you want to see?
It's a good vibe staple.
It's a good vibes thing. I love it. And these guys that we found, they're like, we can come back because we have some dance moves. Because we do this. We're from Hito. I'm like, it makes so much more sense.
And the
now.
way they
Sure
were
do.
dancing,
And
like,
they sure
I'll
do.
wait till I show you the
They
video.
sure do.
I was
That was the actual move.
I'm crying.
I can't wait to show you. I
Oh
can't,
my God.
sit your ass down somewhere. But I think people underestimate, like, I always say this, like, nudity is definitely like being unclothed is always like I don't know how to say, like it represents how naked you can get in truly with yourself, how vulnerable you could be. Like, we're so used to being clothed, we're so used to wearing avatars, covering,
yes.
showing up a certain way.
So freeing.
When you're naked, you're just out here. So it's like it does require a certain amount of
healing.
vulnerability. It is healing.
It's super healing.
Just in your skin.
Just going skinny dipping. I mean, so many of the women in our life, I've seen like the evolution of their nudity throughout like the 7-day retreat, where it's like, okay, like she's like wearing a bathing suit for the first time. Okay, like she took her top off for 5 minutes.
Oh.
And then like day 3, okay, she's butt ass naked in the pool. All right. Day 4, now she's twerking by the kitchen. Now she's eating a full meal nude. Okay,
Yeah.
we've like the evolution, and then like there's like this freeing. There's freeing.
It's so freeing. Have you lived? You have not lived. Unless, to me, you just been butt booty naked eating some, what's the fried dough they make in Jamaica?
Festival.
The festival.
Oh,
Come
bitch.
on now. It was
Bitch.
amazing.
I know, because
Highly recommend.
I was just naked eating the festival.
I was
and
too. It was great.
Or it was orgasmic.
Amazing.
Do we need to do a collab? We might have to go back to Hito, bitch.
I know.
Definitely.
I tried to buy a day pass. They don't have those, so
They don't have that?
No, I still haven't gone. So one of these days, I'm going to Hito. Even though
I feel like it depends on who's there.
Yeah,
Whoever's
yeah.
there makes the whole experience in my mind.
if anyone has a Hito hookup, call me.
Mandy.
Oh, right. Of course she does.
She be hosting
Mandy has
Hito.
all the hookups.
I know she do. Shout out to Mandy B. We love her.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can we get your book?
You can find my book everywhere books are sold. It's called Unruly. And you can follow me on Instagram at the Shelah Marie. I'm on TikTok at the Shelah Marie. And you can find me at ShelahMarie.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming to
Thank you,
hang and chat with
ladies.
us.
And I hope you guys get some rest after tomorrow.
I definitely will. Definitely. It's a must.
Okay? Get some rest. We
And-
love y'all.
And y'all know where to find us at goodmoms_bad_choices on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you are on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our retreat, the Good Vibe Retreat. We have a couples retreat coming up in June. We have a few spots left. So if you have a lover, whether it's a new relationship that you're trying to build the foundation, this is a beautiful place to really, find your non-negotiables, build your contracts with your lover.
Do sexy things.
Or maybe you're deep into your relationship and you need to spice it up, reignite it. Come join us in Costa Rica in June. And then if you're like, I don't have a lover, I just got me and I need to work on me, then come to our women's retreat in Costa Rica in July and August. We have 2 dates and those retreats are almost sold out. So make sure you check it out at the Good Vibe Retreat. And I love you.
Love you. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Yeah, I'm living so good, can't you tell? I went through a drought, that's until I found a well. Made my heaven on earth, I used to be broke as hell. Now I got the blues dancing like Beyonce Giselle. Throat chakra popping, it's power in our voices. Patriarchy kept it in a box to exploit us. Women put the P in power, so it's pointless. They want me to be good, so I make bad choices. Bad mom, not a bad mom, but a bad mom. Get her Zen on, put cannabis in her bath bomb. Walked in, boss was capping, I blew his cap off. Top dog now, I'm immune to the cat calls. Curvy in the waist, but straight to it like a dollar sign. Mother and a lover, intuitive like a water sign. Warrior in the winter and sensual in the summertime. I do it all, ain't no one I need to run it.